Okay.
Welcome to the Marketing Meetup with your host, Frank Bauer, where you can get all of your internet marketing questions answered.
Hello, everybody. Hope you're having a good night or day wherever you're located. Right now with me again is Matt. Hi, Matt.
Hello.
Okay, today's topic, as we announced it, is basically about email strategies that help you improve your results. By the way, not to be confused with my board in the back, that's from another call I did before, which was on a similar topic, also email strategies, but don't worry.
Sorry.
No worries, I just was waiting quickly.
All right. Sorry, that was weird. Can I hear you?
Let's give Matt a second to sort out his window where he has the broadcast open right now.
No, I do. Sorry, that was weird. My audio like cut out on me for some reason.
And I can hear ourselves. We have an echo in the line right now, so.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I'm fine, and I think the echo is gone. I hope it's gone.
Okay.
You got it.
Right.
No
Good.
worries. That was a marketing meetup inside the marketing meetup inside the marketing meetup and so on. That's the first timer. That's the first time that we had that one. Anyway, sorry guys, can happen. Technical difficulties as usual. No problem. So again, today's topic is about email marketing, as I mentioned before, and basically about what things you can do to get better results in it. Oh, now somebody muted himself. Okay, that works too, of course, if you mute yourself for a while. Basically, all he needs to do is to close the browser window where he can see the Hangout, the second browser window where it's open. Probably imqa.us you have got probably open. The link that I gave you before on Skype, Matt.
Yeah.
Anyway, no problem. Yeah, another little bit of our housekeeping while Matt is sorting out his his call there. I'm gonna give away today at the end of this marketing meetup. We're gonna give away a 6-month platinum upgrade to any of my sites. You can choose if you want to get an upgrade in ViralURL and ViralPLR and ViralinBox. You just basically tell me if you're the lucky winner. And all you need to do is basically stick around, and we'll ask you some really simple questions towards the end. And then the first person answering it will win that 6-month free upgrade. By the way, if you have an account already, no problem at all. I'm just going to upgrade that account. If you have already an upgraded account, I just upgrade it higher. No problem. We'll find a solution for you. Or you get a second account, second upgraded account if you like that. Anyway, let's get started with the topic itself. The reason or the way we came up with the topic is that Matt and we both use a lot of mailing systems out there, like for example Matt's List Jumper, for example. And I was talking with Matt about it. I basically asked him straight out, hey dude, what's the best site that you have that way that your customers are the happiest in there in biggest customer satisfaction in there basically? And he's like, well, that would be List Jumper. I'm like, okay, cool. So let's use it as an example because we need to have some kind of an example where we can share about how that works basically with the mailing and what to do, what not to do, etc. And let me actually just go ahead and ask you straight out. Can you describe in a nutshell, like in a couple of sentences, what is List Jumper? What does it do?
Sure.
Why does it benefit your customers so much?
Yeah. List Jumper was an idea based off of an existing concept, essentially a mailing or a safe list mailer, if you will. And there were so many that existed, and I came up with this idea that how can we make it more interactive? And List Jumper, hence the name Jump, allows you to jump ahead of people who've already joined a safe list. Or I should say, who's already joined List Jumper before you joined. And the reason that was integrated was, at the time, a lot of the safe lists were, you can only, once you join, you can start sending advertisements or email advertisements to people who join after you. And I was like, well, that's kind of crappy. Why would I would join? There's thousands of people who've already joined, and I'll never be able to advertise to those people. So I said, okay, well, why not come up with an idea that allows people to jump ahead of those individuals who joined before them. Now, it's not a revolutionary idea. There really weren't any sites doing that similar concept. We had a couple copycats, and one still exists, but List Jumper is really neat because it's not, first of all, it's not a paid incentive, meaning when you send out an advertisement or a mailer or a mailing, whatever you want to call it, because everyone uses different terms. When you do that through List Jumper, two things happen. The people who receive them can read and receive your email either in their account on our site within List Jumper or to their email address directly. Now, some people don't like to get lots and lots of emails to their email directly. They'd rather have it on a separate platform, which is List Jumper in this case, and that's fine. When they read it, they'll click on the link, and they will earn credits for opening that email, essentially clicking on a link and letting that window stay open for 20 seconds. And when they do that, they earn credits. Now, they can, in return, can use those credits for, well, two things. They can send out an advertisement, or they can jump. And jumping means those people who are already in front of you, you can jump ahead of them. Now, people are like, oh, well, why would I want to use my credits to jump ahead? Well, in a normal safe list, or at least back when we started this, you could never jump ahead of those people, or you could never advertise to those people. So we made it a way that it's a cooperative environment where you can say, okay, today I'm going to spend some credits jumping ahead, and then the next time I'm actually going to use credits to send out a mailing, and that's perfect. The nice thing is, the person who jumps to the #1 spot does not stay there for very long because people are constantly jumping, and it's a revolving door as people are jumping ahead, and those who don't stick around end up in the bottom of the barrel. So it's important to have a combination of sometimes you spend credits to jump ahead and jump up, closer to the top of that line of memberships or members, and other times it makes sense to send out a mailing. So it's a good combination that we built, and the other thing that List Jumper allows you to do is see who's clicked and opened that mailing that you sent out. Now, not every site like ours is the same. Some have different benefits, different characteristics or features, if you will, and you have to really test what works best for you. Now, List Jumper is a pretty simple platform. I like it because it gets straight to the point. There aren't all these different elements that incentivize people to take an action. We're not watering it down. It's literally what you see, and there are some services in our space that have become, I don't know, feature-rich, meaning they have all these different features, but then it misses the point of why that site exists. So I don't know if that's a good starting point for you, Frank, but hopefully we can continue talking about it.
No problem. Really good explanation there. And I see the point. Basically, the way you understand it, your members, even the free members that join for free List Jumper, that's the cool thing, that they can jump ahead there with their credits that they earned there. Because there are other sites that are out there where the paid ones can mail, but hey, how about the free members? And you guys basically take care of your free members that way already, that they can have some mailing, be able to reach those people that are in a different position in the company that didn't join after them, but way before them possibly.
Right.
And they don't even have to pay them. Basically, they can just basically use the site, look at messages from other members, earn their credits, and then use that to mail out and jump ahead of other people, etc. So for that way, you're taking care of them. But let me ask you one quick question. Obviously, as every of these list mailer sites out there, there's going to be a paid upgrade offer usually, right? I know with our site, like with ViralURL, I know when they upgrade for the paid membership, they get the ability to mail those 3,000 members every 3 days. And then in our case, we don't have this, the list where they jump, but we just basically let them randomly mail to people, right? But it's only for the paid members with ViralURL. And List Jumper, basically with those credits, even the free member can mail out and basically reach anybody who joined who knows when that same site, right? So what is the benefit there to upgrade then in case of list jumper? What is the added benefit for those members?
Sure. When you upgrade, there's 3 levels: there's bronze, silver, gold, and I won't go over all the details for each, but first off, as a free member, you do get the opportunity to earn commissions on anyone you refer who makes a purchase, and typically that's 10%, but people aren't really, 10% is not a lot. It's nice. I mean, you share. Yeah, exactly. You share list jumper with anyone, and they upgrade. You get 10%. I mean, at least. But if you upgrade, you can get 40% commissions on referral upgrades. So anyone you refer, you get 40%. In addition, In addition, you get to you basically get a lot more credits. So you don't have to spend all your credits to mail. You can actually, or send a mailing. You actually get the ability to send out to 1,500 random responsive or active members without spending any credits, which is nice. So that means, now you can use the credits you earn to jump ahead of people and jump higher in the line and send an advertisement without using any credits. So let's just say you have 2,000 credits and you're like, okay, well, I could jump 1,000 and then mail to 1,000, or I could jump 2,000 and mail to 1,500 because I already get 1,500 included in my upgrade. Now that's on bronze. If you go to silver, you get 3,000 that you can advertise to or send a mailing to without using any credits, and then an additional 6,000 if you use credits. And gold's even higher, where you can mail to 6,000 active members without using any credits, and you can basically reach an additional 8,000 using any earned credits. So when you upgrade, you automatically allow yourself to get a dual purpose where you can jump by using credits and then not use any more credits and just focus on jumping, and then use those free credits essentially without even having to spend any. So hope I didn't just confuse that. Meaning, once you upgrade, you always get to send to people or members without spending any credits. You can just spend credits on jumping if you need to, so you can get higher and higher and higher until you reach the very top if you'd like. And then when you get there, start earning lots of credits, and you can send to a ton of members, thousands and thousands. So that's the benefit.
If I can interrupt you shortly there, I was about to ask, so is there like a top limit? If somebody saves up their credits, could they theoretically email, the whole membership database, basically? Or
we
was it
do
like an upper limit?
Yeah, we do limit it. It is basically you can reach 14,000 members every 3 days. I mean, that's a pretty sizable number.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So yeah, our top membership allows you to reach 14,000 members every 3 days.
Thanks a lot. By the way, the 3 or 4 sentence answer that ended up now in 3 or 4 minutes, but that's okay, cool. So now, at least now we know exactly what List Jumper is about. Now let's go into this thing. You know what is it that people do with it? I mean, I've seen from my own side, some members use it what I consider the right way to using a mailer site like this, and I don't consider us really to be a safe list. I would call it more like a viral list mailer. That's kind of like the genre, because safe list is more like, in my opinion, the term safe list I would apply more to a site that allows all the members to email all the members all the time, and you get like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of emails a day. And of course, obviously, it gets you very, very, very little results versus, in a list mailer that we are talking about here, like List Jumper, for example, or my own ViralURL. There, it's not a safe list per se where everybody mails everybody, but it's really, in a way, it's kind of limited. But then in that way also, because you can't email, or because not everybody can just email everybody, the results that every single person gets is a lot higher, of course, because people are not so overwhelmed with the amounts of emails they get. I don't know about List Jumper, but I know, for example, with ViralURL currently, the average member gets roughly 7 emails a day. And a lot of people say, well, 7 emails a day, I can deal with that. I can look at them. That's doable. On the other hand, if I think about certain, especially safe lists out there, I'm a member of SafeList as well. I advertise with them too. It's less results, but yeah, even if it's less, I think Mark Joyner calls it kind of thing cheeseburger traffic. It's not really good, but it fills you up still. It gives you some benefit, right? So
Right.
I use them too, but this kind of sites I really see easily like 200, 300, 400 emails coming in a day, and obviously I do not read them all. I mean, it's more like it happens every now and then that I see one of those messages, but most of them I don't even look at.
Right.
Whereas when you get like only a handful, or maybe even if it's like 20, 30 or 40 emails a day, that's still manageable versus a couple hundred, right? So I think that's where I think I personally would call ListJumper, in my opinion, also more a viral list mailer, because it's not really everybody, but it's just in the end it's a definition of terms, right? What is it? What do you really call it? And in our industry, I think it's kind of like self-branded terminology. Everybody's calling these things. Somebody started calling them something, even SafeList. Who came up with that name, right? Somebody just said, well, it's kind of like a safe way to mail out. Let's call it a safe list to mail to, right? On the other hand, viral list mailer, same thing. Where that term come from. But just so people understand the differences. The way I look at it, a viral list mailer like ListJumper or ViralURL, etc., is in a way. You don't get as much emails as you get with like an old-fashioned safe list, where you get all those messages from everybody all the time. So I think the overwhelming factor is a lot lower with our kind of services out there, and also the effectiveness. I mean, I looked here, by the way, while Matt was talking, I was looking every now and then over here on the screen on the side where I have right now actually my own ListJumper account open. I was logging in and having a look, the last messages I sent out, and they show pretty nicely on there how many clicks I got for each message, etc. And I think I actually asked Matt right before we started the conference call about the clicks, how they are tracked. So I have an idea how it works. So the way I understand this actually is that I probably got even more than it actually says here, because that's basically the tracking link in your system that's being tracked only. And my other links that I have in my message get additional clicks, of course. So it's probably even higher than what it says in here. So that's a good thing. But let's get to the point actually about the email strategies and how to improve your results with it. And maybe first, before that, I want to hear your opinion on it. But I have my own opinion. What do you use this kind of service for? I use it myself, so I know what I use it for. But what would you recommend your members in ListJumper to use it for? What should they mail? What should they not mail about?
That's a great question.
In your opinion.
Yeah. I'll tell you what now I'm going to be a little transparent here and say I'm not a frequent user of mailers, for example. And yeah, I own one, but I don't belong to 300 myself and use them all to advertise. Now, should I? Yeah, probably. I don't have time for that, but I'll tell you how I see the use of mailers like ListJumper. And if I was to every 3 days mail out, or let's say not mail out, if I was to every 3 days use ListJumper for what its purpose is, or for what it can give you, I would use it for advertising one thing. And the reason is because I would want to make sure everyone knows that I'm an expert in that one thing. Now, there are lots of ways you can use that one thing, right? You could say, if it was me, and I was going to go on to this campaign essentially, and I want to be the most effective, I want someone to know that I know what I'm talking about. First off, the thing is you have to remember, if you're going to advertise something, it usually takes, 5 to 10, or I think it's now like 7 to 12. Yeah. Well, I think it's 7 years ago, meaning I think now it takes even more exposures. I could be wrong, but I believe, because I heard and read some statistics that are saying that it now takes like 12 or 10 to 13 times before someone makes a purchase, because there's so many options now because of technology, and the ease of anyone creating any kind of platform, it seems, that it takes much longer to even get someone to make a decision. So to get back to what you were asking, if I was going to tomorrow start using ListJumper every 3 days and any site that is similar, I would have one website that is catered to talking about one product or one service or one newsletter or just about me and education, some one product. And I would use ListJumper every 3 days for probably 6 months consistently. Now, that has always been our message, that consistent messaging is very important, that you have to be constantly out there and talking about whatever it is you're talking about. Because just to send one ad, one mailer, whatever it is, that exposure has to happen. I rarely make a purchase or sign up to something unless I've seen it or heard of it or looked at it more than one or two times. Meaning, I really have to see it 3 or 4 or 5, usually more times before I make a decision on anything. Now, there are impulse buys, absolutely, but think about, and I'm talking not just to Frank here, but think about how many times you go out and you go to the store or you see a commercial on TV, you go to a store, check something out. Do you buy it right then and there? Maybe not, maybe, but you've probably seen that commercial more than once. Usually it's a few times. Like beer. I enjoy some beer here and there, but I was watching, there's whatever. There was a commercial for the beer the other day, and I'd seen it already probably 5 or more times. And now I'm actually kind of interested in trying it because I've seen it multiple times. Now, it's not the same commercial, but it was talking about the exact same beer. And it's starting to catch my attention. And then I just saw it when I was out with friends, and I was like, man, is that any good? I didn't order it, but I'm probably going to order it next time. And I don't drink a lot of beer, but if I see it out next time, I'm much more likely to see it. I'm much more likely to at least order it to try it. Frank.
You brought a good point up, and that's this thing that it was not the same ad every single time you saw it, but it was about the same product. Yeah. And I think in email marketing, this applies also. If we send out, and I've seen that, I believe that is a mistake that is being done out there. People sending the exact same message, the exact same subject line out over and over and a couple times is okay, but like for a year, for example. At some point, obviously, everybody will have seen that exact same message, and then what happens then is something that's called ad blindness. What can happen then is that people that see that are exposed to the exact same message over and over and over again, that they eventually blend it out. They don't see it anymore. They don't. Oh, yeah, I've seen that before. Never mind. That's why in commercial advertisement out there on TV, etc., they don't have the same ad forever. They have a campaign for a certain time, and then they move on and have a different campaign, and then a different campaign. It's all about that one product, but different ways to present it, which keeps then the attention of people. They're like, oh, what's this one now? Haven't seen this one yet. What are they going to talk about this time? Or especially if it's like funny advertisement, right? Like, oh, what's going to happen this time here in this ad, right? So there is something to be, sometimes it's just really like you look at things out there, how do the big guys do it? Coca-Cola or beer brands or whatever, or car brands, etc. How do they do it? And then why shouldn't we kind of like take some of that information and use it also in our online marketing instead of just having this one email ad that maybe this copy and paste email ad that we got from our affiliate program site, and then everybody uses the exact same ad all the time. Obviously, the results will maybe in the beginning be good, but eventually trickle away and become less and less and less. But I think we went ahead of ourselves a little bit here. I like the idea about that you stick to one product, to one thing, and then talk about it in different ways. Why should you get it? What is good about it? Maybe the different benefits it has. etc., etc. Maybe even share different testimonials about that product in each ad. Like, hey, so and so said this and this. So just give feedback of different customers. But I think we should put one thing ahead of all of this, and that's the thing is the decision making for some people about what is it that they should promote. I mean, really, what product, what service, what site, what is the one thing that you want people to go? And one thing that I keep saying to my members in ViralURL, and it's probably similar to this Jumper, etc., and all the sites, is these are obviously lists that are not owned by you right now as the user of the site. They are owned by Matt, or they're owned by me, or they're owned by some other site owner that owns that particular site. So I think the number one thing is that you should have in mind when you use the sites is, how can I turn this list, which is a kind of public list, right? It's shared with multiple people, into my own personal list? How can I get the name, or at least the email address of that person that gets my message onto my own, let's say, get response list or Aweber list or whatever service you use that hopefully doesn't get a DDoS attack again, like somebody we had recently, right? Talking about GetResponse. By the way, I use GetResponse. Matt uses GetResponse. We both like it. They were down a couple of days because some, can I say, bonehead idiot, some hacker type tried to blackmail them. But hopefully, luckily, they got through it. I mean, yesterday they were up again, and when I just checked a few minutes ago, yeah, site is up right now. Good. We always rely on our mailing list. So we use GetResponse, even though they were hacked, no, not hacked, I almost said, even though they were blackmailed recently and were down for a couple of days there. But the main focus is here, how do I can get those subscribers that are, or those members that are on this different list, like in List Jumper, in ViralURL, whatever the site is, right? How can I get them to my own list? And I think the point is important, especially for those marketers that are starting out brand new, that are maybe right now just affiliate marketers, right? They promote some website again on those services. Now the problem with that is, let's say some of my ViralURL members promote ViralURL on this Jumper, right? They still get the names from this Jumper and they end up in ViralURL, but who gains a mailing list there? Not necessarily the mailing, the ViralURL member. Yes, they can mail them because it's their downline. But I personally, you build my mailing list that way. And even though I'm very thankful for that, I think you should build your own mailing list very first. That should be the first thing in mind. So I think if you go to another site, any site out there, keep in mind is how you can build your own personal mailing list first. And I think the best way is having some form of an offer where you give something away for free in exchange for their email address. Basically, a squeeze page. Advertise a squeeze page. Advertise where something is offered of value in exchange for an email address. And then that email address ends up on your autoresponder, like Aweber GetResponse, Attribute Mail Responder Pro, whatever you're using, right? So I think that's the number one thing that people should have in mind. It's like, if I use it, yes, like Matt said, constantly, or consistently use it. Don't use it just like 3 times and say it doesn't work. No, use it over and over and over again. But also, like Matt said, don't send the exact same message out, but advertise the same thing, but different angles. Different benefits, different headlines, different subject, body copy of the email, and that way, have different angles to get the person to your mailing list. You don't have to have a new message every single time, but let's say, for example, if you mail out to a list, like I can give just an example of ViralURL now. We have like about 75,000 members in there. Let's say you mail out 3,000 members at a time, so at least mail it out probably 10, 15, 20 times the same message. You probably reach new people all the time. But eventually down the road, after mailing the exact same message out that often, you want to switch to a different subject line and see how that one works. Or even switch back and forth and keep track on which one gets you more clicks. So okay, wait a second, every time I use this subject line, I get roughly whatever, like maybe 10, 15 clicks, whatever it is. But if I use this other one, I get 30, 40, or 50 or whatever. So, maybe I should drop this earlier subject line because it does perform a lot less. And that's where we go right into the thing is how what strategies to use to actually improve your results over time. Keep track of what you're doing. Yes, like Matt says, advertise on List Jumper, for example. the same thing over and over. Brand yourself, for example, but you want to brand yourself. Also, when you brand yourself, you also want to keep in mind that you then build your own mailing list. Don't just send them off to a site where you build somebody else's mailing list, but think first about how you can build your own mailing list as the very first thing, because in the end, I think, and I'm sure I'll ask Matt in a second, but I'm sure he will agree to that, the biggest asset that we as online business owners have is what? What do you think is our biggest asset?
People.
The mailing list, right? Correct.
Yeah.
Our contact list, and of course, obviously, the relationship that we have them. You want a list of people that like to listen to you, and not just don't just buy a CD with a 1 million email address and say I have the biggest list. Yeah. You have the biggest trouble too if you do that probably soon.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I can add to that. I think there's also maybe it's because of the like kind of the niche market we're in internet marketing essentially. Not everyone. Well, it does come down to like some traditional business as well, where if you are selling something, it's kind of important to capture a lead, right? I mean, for example, if Frank was to go out and advertise on ListJumper for whatever it is, there's an important process that you want to capture some kind of data that you can follow up with whoever it is that's interested. Now, maybe you say, okay, well, what I'm doing is I actually want to talk to someone on the phone. I don't need email addresses. Fine. It does build a database. I mean, you talk to pretty much any traditional company, or not even traditional company these days, and even startup, they all have a CRM, a contact or a contact resource manager or a contact relationship manager. And that CRM, it may not be a mailing list, but it's a way for them to capture individuals or leads who may be interested in their products, services, etc., that they can follow up with. Now, I'm not really into the business of building a mailing list anymore as much as I used to be. I like to just build products, and I want to build like solid and foundational products that have tons of value. But Frank is right that in order for you to sell something and really have control of, I can keep on getting in front of this person who may be interested in my products. Yeah, you need a value to offer them before they even buy something. There's a company called HubSpot. You may or may never have heard of them. They're actually out here in Boston. They have 750 employees, and all they really do is inbound marketing. And their inbound marketing tool and platform is really it's pretty fascinating. But the important thing is they're focused on inbound marketing, and they landing page creation, call to actions, building resources, and they're not helping you sell what you offer per se, but it's more about getting in front of the person who you're marketing to and capturing their data, and then having automated follow-up. And in order for them to even be interested in what you're offering, is giving them something like some downloadable ebook for opting in. It's nothing we haven't heard of before, but it is definitely an important step if you have something to sell. Now, if you're looking for subscribers to your YouTube channel and you want to use ListJumper or any other service like it, you can do it, but you're going to have to be creative about it. Because they're not really they're not going to be opting into anything. They're not giving you their information. They're going to be subscribing to your YouTube channel, which can work, but you got to be consistent about it. You got to stand out and do something that is going to capture their attention very quickly. It might be a little slow, but you can do it. But the point of that is, what Frank is saying is, don't just advertise someone else's stuff first. Advertise what you are offering, and have those people say, "Oh yeah, Frank, I like what you're telling me. I'm interested to hear more. Here's my information. Let me know more about it." That's the first step. And marketers have been saying that for years, and many still say, "You know what? People, the one thing that has never changed is the value of your contact list, and it's true. Just like offline marketing, networking is super important. It's the same thing. I wish I had one on me. If I give you my business card or exchange my business card with someone, that's like me adding someone to my list. I'm going to take that, I'm going to put it in my CRM, and I'm going to follow up with them. It's a much more manual process, but it's the same concept of building that list, my list being my CRM of all my contacts who literally handed me their business card, and now I have that person I can follow up with pretty much any time. Now, they don't have to answer my call, just like if you send an email and they may never answer or click on anything or reply. Same thing. Email marketing is a lot, easier because you can send to thousands of people within, a couple minutes rather than calling everyone. It's going to take a couple minutes per call. That's very different. But yeah, focus, depending on what you're selling and what your goals are, building getting a contact list going, getting subscribers to some kind of form who give you their information in exchange for you giving them something in return is absolutely important. And List Jumper is a great resource to do that. I mean, Frank has ViralURL and a few others, but the consistency thing is really important. And I've kind of gone off on a tangent, so Frank can reel me back in a little bit.
No worries. I mean, you get some good points out there, and then the thing is, what you're capturing, what you want to get in your content management system, like Matt calls it there, is it doesn't really depends on what kind of business you are. For us, for Matt, for me, since we are more in the world of internet marketing, so meaning our customers, our clientele is online basically, we're looking, of course, for a way to contact them online, especially for us. I mean, I don't know about Matt, but I know my customers are worldwide online. So yes, I could call them all over the world on the phone, and the advantage of if I have their phone number and I call them up on their phone number is usually that you have more of an attention there. If they answer, they're either going to tell you like, not interested, cluck, hang up, or they're going to listen to you. But once they start listening, at least you have their attention there. Versus an email you send out, obviously, an email is easier to reject for the other side because you don't see if they read it or not. You don't see if they, what they do with it. I mean, yes, if you're tracking open rates and click rates and stuff like this, you can see kind of per se, on average, how many people open it, on average, how many people click on it, but you don't see the individual person open or clicking it. So it's really easy to just delete it or ignore it and not react to it if you want to. So yes, certain things, especially I think if you're talking about either high price products, or if you're talking about high attention products like service products where you provide them like maybe with personal training, etc. Some things will be easier to sell on the phone to them versus in an email. But then there's a lot of low-cost kind of items that and low-cost, I think anything below $100 somewhere, These kind of items, yes, you can sell them in an email or pre-sell them. Actually, one other thing, it's one thing that I covered in this little presentation that I did a couple days ago, is that you probably don't want to really sell any email, but just want to frame get their mind in the right frame and then send them off to a web page that then does the actual selling. You don't want to really put all the information in an email when that you can put in there, but you want to keep it short to the point and just get the one thing out of the email that the email is supposed to do, and it's supposed to pre-frame them and then get them to click. The subject line is just to get them to open the email body just to get them to click on a link in that email, because in that email itself they can't enter their credit card number. They can't, join your list in that email itself. They need to click on something and then end up on a web page that then, gets them to, do that action that you want, like either join your list, leave their phone number, leave maybe their Skype ID, leave some other way to contact them, etc. Who knows, maybe a mobile number that you can send a text message to. There's so many ways, right? Or what do you call them in the US? Not mobile, you call them cell number in the US, right? Cell phone number. In Australia, it's mobile number. Same thing. But basically, just get them to, so you can send them a text message, an SMS, or whatever you call it, depending on what country you're in, right?
Right.
But yeah, good point. So it's not just the email, and some people also, they keep focusing on get a name and email address, get the name and email address. Actually, if you just get the email address, often that's plenty, because yes, we learned a long time ago it's good to personalize, to put the name in there, because then they feel like you're talking to them. If I send you, Matt, have you joined the Marketing Meetup this week, or this month? It maybe gets their attention because Matt sees his name in this thing. But it can also be overbearing, and especially for us in internet marketing, we know all this personalization, so we don't react maybe as much to it anymore than somebody who's not in our in this field of marketing. There's maybe somebody who's in a different area and different niche, like in the weight loss or in the health and fitness, etc. They are maybe not so overwhelmed with all this personalizations we like to do here in our internet marketing niche. Yeah? But basically what I heard is, and what I've seen other marketers do, like for example Frank Kern, is that he just asks for the email address and just keeps the messages extremely personal when he emails them. Oh, sorry, not personal, well, casual, that's the word, casual. And so, hey, dude, instead of, hi, Matt, it's like, hey, dude. He just talks really casual with them. And that way he can get away without having their first name or anything, but people still read his messages. They're interested to see what he has to say. Because, again, also, that's one part of that I had on here, the 3 pillars of email marketing: list building, list relationship, and then list monetization. The relationship part, if you can get that to go, if you can build your relationship with your own mailing list, then that's when you're gonna see the real good results from your mailing out there. But sites like ListJumper, like ViralURL, etc., I consider them as list building sites, and not just building our lists, Matt's and mine here, but it's building your own list using this kind of sites, right? I mean, you use these sites to build your own personal mailing list. And yes, like Matt said, some people might want to have their phone number or something else, but I think since we're all online and these sites are online and we're using it, sending emails out, asking them first for the email address is maybe a very good first step. And then once you have them on your mailing list, you can ask for more, over time. Hey, can you leave your phone number so I can give you a call? Or, I think most of the time, think about it in a way as like, what is it that they have to give up, and what do they get in return? And is it what you're asking for, something very maybe intimate to them that they don't want to give out? Maybe a phone number is something you would not want to give out all the time. Imagine you would give everybody your phone number and suddenly your phone keeps ringing off the hook all day long, right? Nobody wants that. An email, of course, where you get emails in, that's easier to deal with, and then especially if you use specific services out there that help you to work with your email in a better way, like for example this one right here. Where is it? There, ViralinBox. Then at that point, you can deal with these emails and then you can sort them in certain boxes away, and you don't have to worry about being overwhelmed. That's why some people might think, yeah, let's not give my phone number right away, but I'm willing to give my email address, initially out, because that's, less of a commitment there. And now if you ask them only for their email address and not, give your first name, your last name, your country, your whatever, your zip code and your email address, the less you ask for, the less of a commitment they make, and the more likely they'll give that information to you. So if you want to get the most amount of email addresses on your personal email list with any service out there, like for example, if you want to go with Aweber or with the GetResponse one here that Matt and I are using, then at that point you want to ask them for at least the least amount of information as possible, so the barrier of entry for them, the barrier for them saying, yes, I'm willing to give this information to that person they're asking on that website in exchange for whatever they're offering. Let's say you send them to a squeeze page out there where you offer, let's say, an ebook on a specific topic, or like an 7-day email course or something like that, or access to a video that you created that's on YouTube in exchange for their email address. Then if you ask for very little information in the beginning, just the email address, for example, then they're more likely to actually be willing to give it to you. And actually that gives me an idea, Matt. I think with the service that we're offering, which is ViralPLR.com, where we give the squeeze pages, I think we should give the option for members just to ask only for the email address. Right now it's first name and email address. I think we should offer that they can switch it down to just the email address if they want to, because that's going to increase their conversions that they get. Just a thought I had now. I have to write it down later. Remind me after the call to write it down. So, but I mean, there's so many things to keep in mind about. But if you want to get the best result, number one, if you use sites like ListJumper or ViralURL, etc., you want to start off with, thinking about what is it that you want to email advertise out there. How can it help you build your own personal mailing list? Be, like Matt said initially, consistent about it. Don't just mail 3 times and say it doesn't work. You want to mail out over and over and over and over. Just be able to reach the whole database of people out there that we have in those sites, right, Matt? I mean, it's not just 1,000 people that you can reach in there. There's way more in there that they can reach, and so obviously they have to send the message multiple times to spread it out basically for everybody to be able to see it once. And then, like Matt said in the beginning, they used to have this saying, you have to mail 7 times, or you have to you have to put an offer or something in front of the prospect 7 times before they're actually gonna consider getting it. Nowadays it's probably more like 12 or 13 times, right? I think that's the number you mentioned before. So because of the amount of information that we see on a daily basis out there, I mean, we're bombarded with advertisement on TV, in the emails, if you go to into a movie. In the beginning, the pre-show, all the ads that are in there. If you watch TV not on paid TV, I mean, I'm talking about the free TV stations out there where they put ads every couple minutes into your favorite TV shows, right? I mean, we are bombarded with ads all day long, the consumers, you and I. And in order to really get through to somebody, you need to, be consistent and not just advertise, for a couple of weeks and then say, oh, never mind, let's do something else. I mean, consistency and being willing to stick with something for the long term is super important for the success of whatever you do out there. I mean, I think the problem nowadays is because of this massive amounts of offers and things that you could do out there. A lot of people, I don't know if it's a proper saying, but the grass seems greener on the other side. Is it in English the same thing? We have that in German, where it looks greener on the other side, and you want to, you're always looking for the green grass on the other side. So you're like not sticking around to benefit enough from what you're doing already, but you keep jumping around to another offer and to another offer. I think in network marketing and MLM, it's a very common disease out there where people jump around from one offer to another and then never stick up with anything long enough to make it really work. I mean, at least the average person out there. Of course, there's always the performers who know how to stick around and they get the benefits of these things. But I think as the average Joe, we need to remember that we need to stick around with things. And if we advertise something, we need to advertise it long enough to actually be able to get the results that we want. The very first couple of times that we send something out, no matter via email, no matter if we send out a physical mailing with letters, within the mail, if we, call people up, etc. The very first time we hear about something, we were going to be wondering, what is this? Is this real? Is this a scam? Is this something that's going to be around in the future? Or will it be gone tomorrow? And especially online, in our world that we are in, Matt and I, and you probably too when you're watching this, online things, it takes a little bit longer to build the trust. An offline business has it a bit easier that way. If you have brick and mortar business and you have your office here in the town and then you have your shelf full of your product, people can trust you more because you are there. You're going to be in the supermarket today and you're going to be in the supermarket, your product's going to be there next week and next year, etc. So it's easy for them to buy it and to build the trust up to your brand and to what you're offering. Us online, we have to build our trust over time, and it takes exposure. And that's why, I mean, it's so important to stick around and not just to gain the trust, but then also obviously to gain their trust to join your list, to maybe buy your product down the road, etc. It's I think some people get a bit wrong. They look at internet marketing online in a way like, I need money tomorrow. Let's join some online program and make quick money. So I need to pay my bills next week. bad way of starting this. I think you need to start off a position of security, and which is of course hard to say for those people that need the money next week, right? You know what they're gonna do. It's just be aware that this, like anything in life, takes some time. So it's not like, you know, buying a lottery ticket and getting $1 million next week. Well, actually try that. You're probably not gonna get $1 million next week anyway, because the chances of winning the lottery is lower than getting hit by lightning. I think it was that you get hit by lightning 7 times before you win the lottery once. I don't know, something like that. Hey, number 7 again. No, but yeah, the thing is, consistency is super, super important. And then also, like I said, sticking with the same product or same thing that you're offering, but you know, not always the same message. You know, you test around and track what you're doing. Another really, really important thing. I mean, it's good. I'm looking here. Maybe I can switch quickly over to my screen and show this quickly. Screen share. Let me see, which one is it? This one here. There we go. I'm right now logged in here in my ListJumper account, and it might be a little bit small for you, but in case you can't read it, you see here I mailed out every 3 days. May 6th was the last one. That's today. Sent to 6,142 members here. Got so far 60 clicks. I mean, obviously, you know, some people didn't see the message yet. This will gonna increase over time. As it looks like, you know, most of the messages before got over 100, 120, 140, something around there clicks, which is quite substantial, I believe. I mean, it's a lot of exposure that we get there. And as you can see, every 3 days here, I sent out, being consistent. But did I send the same message? Actually, in this case, no. I have like different subject lines, as you can see here in front. There's some of them are, you know, multiple times here. This one's here 1, 2, 3, 4 times, but yeah, different ones. And by the way, the way I do it here, you can tell that by the website URL. There's actually a traffic zipper URL, which is a service that I use to get past that. The problem that some people have out there that Matt mentioned already before, being consistent and just they don't have the time to use all those mailers all the time. Matt said, like, is he a member of 300 mailers now because he can't really handle 300 mailers?
Yeah, really.
And personally, I'm probably a member of roughly 20, 30 mailer sites out there. But I'll be honest with you, the ones that I use consistently are the ones that I, you know, add into my traffic zipper account, because that automates the process for me. And I put them in there, and then just, you know, it sends out my advertising. And one of them is an advertising for one of my own sites. There's one in there where I'm advertising ViralURL, one of the messages. There's another one where I advertise another site of mine in there. But, you know, for me, advertising my own sites directly, even though I use affiliate links just to be able to track my results that I'm getting with these services, obviously I build my own mailing list. So if I send somebody to ViralURL.com, for example, then if they sign up, they join my mailing list. So I don't have to send them to Squeeze page first, right? So you see people like Matt, like me, we're advertising our own services out there, because in the end, that's how we build our mailing list, right? We have something of value to offer where they can sign up for free, like in ListJumper, for example, where, you know, you can then mail out just by simply reading a couple messages, clicking on the links, and then earning your credits, and then being able to mail out to others yourself, you know, for free. Or ViralURL, where the free front end is like the ability to list, you know, to track, to shorten, to cloak your links, etc. That's our free front end, where we offer something of value first in exchange for their name and email address in our case. But you know, the thing is, we use it constantly, and I use this one constantly because, you know, I just automated the whole process with using Traffic Zipper in this case. And that makes it, you know, a lot easier. But I think the step, what people need to remember, or what you need to remember if you watch this, is first find what you want to advertise. And if you do not own any site yet, if you don't have any Squeeze page yet, anything at all in that regard, get something where you can start collecting at least their email address. And maybe even just the email address, like we mentioned before, is maybe even the best way to get the highest conversion rates, you know, the highest opt-in rates in your list. So if you want to do that and you don't have any services, any sites out there using, for example, the ViralPLR service that I created together with Aurelius Chin, might be the right way. Obviously, if you have something already, if you have something that you can, like a product that you can give away in exchange for a name and email address, and you just want to build your list in a service like Aweber or GetResponse, for example, then that's another option, right? I mean, however you do it, look at it first. How can you build your own mailing list? And then just look at the messages, track the results. I mean, if you like you saw on the screen on the shared screen that I showed you from ListJumper there, if you just look at it that way, you send out a message, you see number of clicks. You send the next message out, see number of clicks, and you just try different subject lines, see which one gets the most, the most clicks, and then keep, refining your advertisement to make it better and perform better and better and get more and more clicks. And obviously, in the end, you want to make sure, of course, that your squeeze page that you're sending them to, or your name capture page, however you call it, gets, conversions. You want to track that as well if possible, so you can then, improve your results over time. And I think one thing is what we maybe have a little bit of an advantage here of is just simply our time that we're doing this already. I mean, Matt, you've been doing this for a couple of years. I've been in and around the internet for many, many, many years, and we learned it by trial and error too. Like, I don't know about your first web page that you ever released, Matt. Mine was but ugly. I mean, I tell you, I mean, that was terrible. And I did pretty much all the mistakes you can do. I did, not only from an ugly color scheme, color choices that I had back then, but also from the point of that my site was like basically like a bunch of advertisements on one page. That was my very first page, like a big mall of advertisements, and wondering why I didn't get much results back then, right? Instead of being laser focused on one target, on one goal, promoting one product at the time or one service at the time, maybe different messages, but all leading to the same funnel. That's the thing, the focus was missing back then. And I think, if people want to avoid those mistakes, that's one thing they should really, really, really look into, that they see how can we focus, how can we, get, A, what's my goal, B, how can I focus most on it and get the best results for that particular goal. I mean, over time, there's going to be always so many things that you want to promote out there, your own. I mean, even if I now want to promote something, which of my sites do I want to promote? There's so many choices by now. But even further, if you're an affiliate marketer, there's always stuff that's out there that would be great to promote, and this would be great to promote, but you want to probably focus on one thing at a time, and then to be able to go and improve your results with that thing. Any other comments on that one, Matt, that you want to share?
I mean, focus is definitely important. I've been a victim of trying to do way too many things, and it's really not effective. Focusing, and like I said, that using mailers like ListJumper and ViralURL and etc. It's really easy to say, oh well, ListJumper's not working because I sent out one mailing and I didn't get any results, any sales. Well, yeah, because you only sent it once. and you can say, oh well, tomorrow, I just found I'm gonna end up finding something that makes me more money commission-wise. Okay, so you're gonna send one mailing on ListJumper, get 0 results, and then say it's not good enough. So the point is, just focus for a while on something that you can really stick behind and believe in, and use mailers like ListJumper and ViralURL. I mean, you have to just stick with it. And you got to test. You can't just do the exact same thing every time. But once you build up that track record of being consistent for a few months, at least a month every 3 days, you're more likely to start seeing some good numbers. And yeah, like you said, focus. Just don't try to market and advertise for 25 different things all at once. You'll just spin your wheels and never get anywhere. And you can't ever be an expert doing that.
True, very true, very true. I mean, okay, well, we're getting to the hour mark, and remember, I promised that we want to give away one of my accounts, a 6-month platinum upgrade to one of them for free, and I have no idea how many people are actually live watching in here, but what you need to do if you want to win that is it's very, very, very simple. The question that I would like to get answered, and I don't know if somebody will be able to answer this before the end of the call. If not, don't worry. Just put it in the comments under the YouTube video or on my imqa.us/m2 site. Anywhere there. The first person who answers that one right will win the 6-month account. And in any of my sites like ViralURL, ViralinBox, or ViralPLR, you can just pick one of them, and then you get free platinum upgrade for 6 months. All you need to tell me is the answer to this question. In ListJumper's members area, what is the name of the very first point on the site in the navigation menu on the what's the left-hand side? Left-hand side. There is. Yeah, sorry, Matt, you're excluded from joining this. Matt is lifting the hand on the other screen here. No, but what is the name of the very first navigation point on the very top? A little hint: there's a building shown next to it, just so you know which one I'm talking. So what is the exact full name of that navigation point? If you put it into the Q&A section here, either on the chat now, here in the Hangout now, there's a Q&A link somewhere at the bottom there. I think on this side. I think if you look if you're on live stream, and just leave it in there. And then once you put it in there, also let me know. Well, I'll let you know if you're the first one. And if you're the first one, you just contact me through my help desk. Let me know your details, and I'll set up the account for you. We get it done for you right there. If this shouldn't happen before the end of the call, no worries. If you're watching the replay of this, you will know if I mentioned that was a winner during the call. If I didn't mention one, keep putting it in there. The first one who puts in gets the account. So no worries there. While we give them some time, because I know there's going to be at least a 1-minute delay once you entered it in the Q&A section here on the Google Hangout, it takes about 60 seconds roughly until we see it here live on the call. So just continue. I mean, by the time before we get to that point, let me just cover another quick point, and I want to share some stuff quickly over on some techniques that I use over with GetResponse to get increase my results. Which, if I think about it, the first technique, I think it's the same one that you should use at list mailer sites like ListJumper and ListJumper. And that's about getting more results by trying different subject lines. And a way somebody's tired over there. Anyway, one way I'm doing that there's let me just share this on my screen quickly with you. Let me just switch over to my desktop and go into my GetResponse account. The first strategy that I'm using there basically to get more clicks with the same list that I'm in there. Let's say I have a list of, like in this case you see here, that's 7,953 subscribers on there on this particular list. This one here, right here. So what I do is I go into GetResponse and go under Contacts and then Search Contacts. That's where I am right now. Click here on Advanced Search, and then what I do is once I send a message out to my whole list to increase the number of clicks I get, it's basically I just take, in a nutshell, I take the subject line, change it over a little bit, try a different angle to get them to open the message, and then mail again to only those people that have not yet opened the last message. So that way I don't annoy the other ones that maybe have seen it already. I don't bombard them with the same, trying to advertise the same thing over and over and over again, and they eventually look at me like, dude, we heard enough of that. Stop it already. No, I just advertise again to those people that haven't opened the last message yet. So if they haven't opened it yet, and the subject line now changed, they don't feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over again to them, right? So I have another chance, another shot at getting them to open a message. And the way it works here in GetResponse, and yes, you can do that in Aweber, of course, as well, but can't show you because I don't have an Aweber account. Different story. If you want to read that on my blog, feel free. But anyway, so what you do in here basically is you go in, you choose this little section right here where it says Add. Yeah, it's pretty small on the screen, but I hope you can read that. It says Add Condition. Click on that, and then you have a drop-down menu on the side here where you choose Message Not Opened. That's the second one from the bottom. And then you just choose, like, let's say my last message was a newsletter, a broadcast, as I call them. I just choose the name of the message. Let's say, for example, anybody who did not open the Marketing Meetup is in 12 hours reminder, and I choose they never opened it. Then I update here down here the counter, and it says right now 7,000. This particular list, 7,889 people have not opened that message yet. So I could just email them. So I just click on here, show contacts, and hopefully you just ignore all the email addresses you're going to see on the next page here. I have to blur them out if I could. But what you do then basically is over here on actions, you choose save search, and you just basically save this particular list that you created in GetResponse, and can then use it in sending another broadcast out. And that works really simple. Let me just do this as an example. I just call this here example list. I know that, but it doesn't matter for an example. Okay, let me fix it. Save search. Now I save this particular list. This is all the people that have not opened that one particular message. Now I go into, let's say, for example, into my newsletter. See my last mailing. Let's do this here. And I take that mailing, choose on actions, reuse. So I take that exact same message from before, open it up, and I now just change the subject line. Let's say maybe I try a different angle. Maybe I just lead here with, let's say, with free giveaway. Start with that. Maybe they see the free giveaway first in the email subject. Then click on next step. So what I changed now is just the subject line. I did try a little bit different angle. Leave the message exactly the same way it is. Oops, here we go. Let me just show this in the what you see is what you get editor, because it's HTML actually. So I just leave the message the same way it was before. I don't have to edit it at all, because all I'm trying now to get those people that didn't open the last one to maybe open this one now by having a different subject line. Click on next step, and on the next page there, on the next step, that's where you choose who you're going to mail it to. And on that page, you have down here where it says choose saved searches. You just open it up, and there's the example list that I just saved just before. So I just choose that example list, and now I can mail it out to only those people that haven't opened it the last time. So that way you can mail out for the same thing using your own autoresponder like GetResponse, Aweber, etc. multiple times without annoying your subscribers on your list, because they're not going to open it and then, oh, another message from him on the same topic and another one and another one, another one. No, only those that didn't open the last one will see this. And I obviously not going to send this out. It's just an example right now. But that way you can get another shot at getting more people to open your message, getting more clicks, and that way getting more results basically on the same promotions without, like I said, annoying those that already took action the last time and opened it up. Let me just have a quick look if you have anything in the Q&A so far. Nobody yet. I guess people still need some time. Like I said, no problem. Let me just cover another quick tip that I want to give you guys in GetResponse here, and something that I've done recently that some people might maybe feel like it's a bit extreme, but I did a bit of an email cleanup in here. Let me just show you that one quickly. What I did in here is to basically go through my list and find a way, to get people that have not been very active in my list to become more active. Let me just see if I can find it quickly here. The message that I sent out. Or let me get the screenshot. I think I took a screenshot of this the other day. Just quickly improvising here a little bit. There we go. That's the one. Let me just pull this over here so you can read it. That's easier. So basically what I did, I sent a message out saying, is it time to say goodbye? And I sent it same like you just saw what I did just now, where I created a sub-list of only the people that opened a particular message. What I did here, I sent this particular message out to another sublist that I created, and I just did this by going here to search contacts. And let me show you how I did that one. Basically, I went again to advanced search and added a condition, and this is the condition of last open date. And then I added a second condition of last click date, and I said basically date is before, correct, and then I choose something like that's 3, 4, 5, 6, about 6 months ago. Let's say October 1st. And you can choose, of course, whatever time frame you're looking for. I basically said I want to have a list of all my subscribers that have not opened a message and not clicked on a message within the last 6 months. And then I sent them this particular message here, where I basically asked them, is it time to say goodbye? It seems like you're not paying attention to my messages, basically, in a nutshell. If you want to stay on the list, just basically, I just told them exactly what to do. I told them, if that's the case, please be kind to enable images in my messages. And basically, by asking them to enable images, then I'm able to track their open rates. If they enable images in messages, I can see that they open my message, or simply click on this link. So either way, if they enabled image viewing images in their emails, or they clicked on this link, then I'll know that they received my email, any of my emails, and opened it. So if they did this, they will not be shown anymore in this list that I selected over here. And I know that they're then active. And then afterwards, I just went through, created a sublist, same like I showed before, showed these, selected the last open date, last click date, went on show contacts. Let me just update this one. I'm just curious how many are there on there. So let's see right now, last open date and last click date more than 6 months ago. On this particular list, only 174 people are right now left on here that have not opened or clicked a message in 6 months at least. So basically, you choose what your time frame is that you're willing to drag them along, right? I mean, obviously, somebody who does not open any of the messages, doesn't click on any of the messages, why are they on your list in the first place, right? So basically, what I'm just giving here then is a last chance to show that they're actually interested in receiving my message. And if they're not, then sorry, no hard feelings. I'll just unsubscribe them from my list, and that way save myself a ton of money in my autoresponder fees that I have on a monthly basis, because you pay per subscriber in these services, GetResponse, Aweber, etc. Speaking of Aweber, another third quick tip in Aweber: make sure that you log in once a month at least and delete all those unsubscribes from your Aweber list. If you use Aweber charges you actually also for people that unsubscribed, unless you deleted their contact details from your list. So very, very important that you go in there and delete them. Otherwise, you keep paying for those people that not even getting any messages from you anymore. GetResponse doesn't do that. That's why I like them better, for example. But in Aweber, it's really important that you do that. But either way, if you use Aweber or GetResponse, cleaning up your mailing list every now and then in this kind of way. And I'll put the message on the screen again one more time, so you can screenshot it if you like to, and maybe read it. I don't know if I can zoom in there even further, but I don't think I can do this here quick on camera. But anyway, that's the message that I used. Obviously, you want to customize it to fit your own purpose there. I mentioned, for example, or simply click this link and visit the site I was talking about in my last 2 emails. That might not fit for you, right? Depending on what you mailed them right before that. But just get them to click a link or enable images in their messages and in the email software that they're using, like Outlook or whatever they might be using. By the way, if they're on Gmail, don't worry about it. Gmail nowadays displays images automatically for everybody, so that's a good thing. You always know when a Gmail user opened this message. You always can track this with the services easily, because they automatically load all the images nowadays. But with other services like AOL or Hotmail or Yahoo, etc.com, these kind of services, you want to get them to enable images. And another little quick tip, I know I'm playing for time for giving somebody the chance to put the right answer in the Q&A. Another quick tip is if you're sending out emails and you want them to enable the images, put like a photo of yourself, and I should have done this properly here. Put like a little photo of myself right here, an image of that. That will show as a not showing image place in somebody that hasn't images enabled, and they will more likely just enable to see what the image is there, because just for an invisible tracking image, a lot of people might not enable their images. But if you put something in there and they think that they're missing out on some point of information, something in there, maybe even say, hey, I have a coupon code for here, and it's on an image. So they have to enable images that way to see your coupon code that you give them, or like a secret URL or whatever. So put something information there where they have to enable the images in order to see that information. And because why do you want them to enable it? Again, just so you have better stats, you have better, you can track better who is opening your messages and who is interested in reading your things, and then also, you can track better which messages actually work for you that you send out. Where you get the highest open rate, the highest click rates, etc. For that purpose, it just makes sense. Okay, let me just switch back here to me. Yeah, okay, I'm back. Just want to share these quick tips with you guys before we head out. Based on what I'm seeing right now, either people are still looking for the name of the first menu point there in list jumper, or they fell asleep by now. I hope not. I hope they didn't fall asleep on us here. But anyway, good for you if you're watching the replay right now. So you still can win this. I mean, I think we're gonna end the call here now and just give the prize away to whoever is the first one in the comments under the video or wherever we show this, and then I'll contact you and let you know that you won. Okay. Well, any closing words from you, and Matt? I know I rambled along long enough now, I think.
No, I don't have anything else to add right now.
Wordless. Okay, speechless. That's okay. Anyway, keep your breath, Matt, because we're gonna talk after this call on the secret jolo.com project where we don't mention the domain name yet. Oops, it went out there.
It's all right. Most people won't know how to spell it anyway.
Well, should I spell it? No, anyway. If you know how to spell it, you're good. Then you can see it. Anyway, thanks a lot for being on the call. It was great, again, sharing this information with you guys. I hope if you watch this, you got something out of it, and it was not just a massive advertisement for List Jumper, but I hope you also got some valuable information out of it. If you're not yet a List Jumper member, again, you want to find out the MERS menu point and win the 6-month upgrade on my side, right? It's right on the top there. It's another hint. It starts with the letter M, that menu point, and ends with an E. So just Anyway, do you see anything in the Q&A? Matt was pointing on his screen to the side. No, I don't see anything either. Well, okay, no problem. Somebody will win it. Not now, but later. And just remember to put that in there. Join List Jumper. The link is underneath here my name. If you want to join List Jumper, if you're not already a member, again, free to join. Obviously, there's a paid upgrade, as with everything online. Check it out, see if that's for you. If you want to get more advertising, put more exposure in it. If you feel like, hey, you want to test them out first, remember building trust first. Well, you could join for free first and upgrade later, I suppose. I mean, that's another option. But up to you. Anyway, thanks a lot for being on the call, and see you next month again. I don't even know what date it is. What's June? June? Let me just quickly look it up because I can say the actual date. Calendar. Where's my calendar? There it is. June the 3rd. June 3rd is going to be the next one. June 3rd is going to be the next marketing meetup. Maybe again with Matt. Who knows? We'll see. Or somebody else. Or Matt and somebody else. We'll see. Anyway, have a nice day. Thanks again for being on here, and see you soon.
Ciao.
Thanks for meeting us in today's session. Share it with your friends. And join us again for the next Marketing Meetup on Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
See ya.